Hey, it's Jamie Moore here. You're on the Off the Ball League of Ireland podcast with you every Wednesday. It's time now for our First Division focus, and we're very happy to welcome two League of Ireland brothers to the studio, Rob Manley of Cabinteely and Joe Manley of Longford Town. Lads, good afternoon. How are you?
How are you, Jamie?
Good, thanks, Jay.
Thanks for coming in. Now, it's the first time in my podcast career that I've had to welcome into the studio one of my players. Rob plays for me in what we used to call IT Blanchardstown, now TU Dublin Blanchardstown in the college, and we won the Premier Division, Rob, and we managed to match up in our suits at the end of season gala dinner. As you can see there, my God, do we look good or what?
Not bad, not bad.
But I understand, Joe, there is a story behind this suit. What is it?
That is my Debs suit from 2 years ago at this stage, so yeah, I made him pay rent on it.
So you couldn't find your own suit for this event, or?
No, the first I don't think I was going to go at the start because I trained that night or something, so I think you had texted me to come, so I only had his suit in the wardrobe, so I just grabbed it and went with it.
Yeah, I think I may have hinted that you possibly won the Freshers Player of the Year award, so you had to be there. In fairness, you turned up, and then did you score the next night down for Cabinteely? You probably did.
I scored the next night down for Cabinteely, so it wasn't bad.
So we managed to win the league, and we beat Joe's team in the cup in one of the previous rounds.
Was it the first TU League derby?
Yeah, because of course IT Tala, ITB and DIT have merged into one bigger college, but we kept our sports teams thankfully, and your boys came to our IT Blanche cage and left with your tail between your legs.
Yeah, we went to the cage. Yeah, it was a good game, to be fair. I really enjoyed it, to be honest. College football is great. There's people play with a bit of a freedom that you don't really get in other places, I feel anyway. But yeah, that was the first time in a good while me and Rob went head to head. Rob was playing in the number 8 that day, wasn't he?
He was.
He scored 2 goals from the 8, so it was a good clash, great game, and I was happy to be part of it, to be honest.
Yeah, a couple of weeks later we managed to win the league. Dave, can we see our lovely trophy and us in our bright yellow kits at Athlone, having beat the other TU Dublin team? No, there's Rob and Joe with their Athlone or their UCD trophy. So just on that, tell me about playing with each other and against each other over the years, because it happened recently enough in the League of Ireland, but clearly you grew up together, played for UCD together, moved apart, but you've always kind of been close by from a football sense.
Yeah, well, growing up, like, we always would have played just with each other on the outside, in the road, in the garden or whatever. And then we got to kind of older, 2 of us went out to UCD, and Joe was on the 17s and I was on the 19s, and eventually Joe got up to the 19s and we started playing together, and luckily enough, like, we had some great times and we won a trophy together, so that's one of my best footballing memories.
What about yourself, Joe?
Yeah, I mean, growing up it was a football madhouse. Like, we have an older brother now who's he could step into a League of Ireland team, not a bother to him in First Division, and he's playing with Home Farm, Leinster Senior at the minute. But the 3 of us playing football, there's 2 years between me and Rob, and then 2 years again between Rob and Sean. And all of us, our dad's football mad as well. He taught us, he had us up in the park from a very young age. So just always kicking the ball about. And then UCD, we both kind of got into UCD on an open trial, wasn't it? Yeah, neither of us had much of a club at that stage, so 2 of us got in. We were treated very well at UCD, and yeah, winning that cup together was winning the league together was one of the best memories I still have from football. Yeah.
So your older brother Sean is also in the league. He's working with Shells.
Yeah, he's the strength and conditioning coach for Shells 19s. There was actually there was a few clubs looking for his services at the start of the season, but he's in his final year in college, so he's got a heavy workload, so he decided to just take Shells 19s. But his services are well regarded in the league, and he'll have a good future.
As well, like, we'll be always up with him in the gym all the time, so it's classic, it's good.
So a real football family. Yeah. So you're with each other at UCD, and then you left first, Rob, did you?
It's the same year, wasn't it?
You both left the same year, did you?
We both left the same year. I moved on to Bowes and Joe went on to Pats. So
then you start to see the possibility of playing against each other. You played against each other this season for Cabinteely and Longford, and also in that match for the college as well. What was that like? Because I know you were probably having a laugh in private behind the scenes, but then you have to actually play against each other, and you're a centre back, Joe, and Rob is a centre forward, so there was obviously a chance that you'd have to kind of play against each other, as we can see there. The match recently, was that the League Cup or League? What was it?
The League, yeah.
Okay.
Third game of the season.
So what's it like playing against them?
The game itself is normal, I think. I don't think too much about it, like, when you're actually on the pitch. The lead up to the game is a bit weird, and then after the game, the lead up to the game there against in the league, that was the 3rd game of the season. But I think I made your pre-match, didn't I?
Yeah.
I made chicken and pasta in the gaff, and then we share a car, like, so we couldn't avoid it. We had to drive out to the game together, which is a bit weird. Like, I think I was on the music, Rob was driving, and we don't chat about the game too much. And then during the game, you don't really notice it. I think you're just playing against another striker. You just go out and play your game, you know, you focus on yourself. And then after the game, it's a bit of an advantage really getting to go home and have a beer with the fella you've just tried to mark for 90 minutes. Like, I'd love to do it every week because you can learn a lot.
Just chat then after about the game.
And did you have concerns that the pre-match meal there might be something in it to make you?
Yeah, I thought he might have done something. He put a few dodgy beetroots in it or something like that day. It's rotten.
That's actually really cool though, that you actually share the car up to the match, and then once the game starts, if you have to trip him up and he's going through and goal to take a red card, you'll do it. And at the same time, if you have to not make him to score, you'll do it.
Because I mean, I go to his games because we play our home games on Saturdays in Longford, and he's playing Fridays. Obviously, I'll go to his games on Fridays, and do you know what I mean? When you're in the stand, you want to see him score, and when he does score, you're delighted. But then when you're out playing against him, you'll do anything in your power to stop the fella. And when he does score, you're cursing him, you know. So it is weird the switch, you know, going from kind of a supporter to an enemy, so to speak. And
what are your mum and dad like when they're watching you play against each other?
They were hoping for me to score, and I think Joe to take about 3 off the line, would he?
Yeah, I think they were chuffed with the 1-1 draw there in week 3. That was a good result for them.
He still owes me a tenner from when I scored on him, so.
Was this in the college game or the club game?
The club game, yeah.
That was repaid at the Debs too.
Nice. So when you're younger and you're growing up and you're playing, like, you know, in the garden or in the park or whatever, like, the fact that yourself, you know, you two and Sean were all football people, and we see all the time different brothers, you know, and what they did for each other when they were growing up as well. Did you proper play serious when you were younger and really kind of practice against each other and stuff?
No, for me, it didn't really get serious until I got out to 19s level. Really, for me anyway. I don't know, just football wasn't that big for me, and then when I got to 19s I just said, Jesus, I'd love to play League of Ireland, like, and kind of took it on from there.
For you?
Yeah, I think when we're playing together when we were younger, I think we were all with good clubs. Like, we were all with Kevin's at different times, and we've all been with Home Farm as well. So, do you know what I mean? Even at a young age at clubs like that, the training's very serious, and as it should be really, you know, they're trying to develop players. So when we were playing together, it was more just a kickabout. It was always enjoyable. A game of heads and volleys, just whatever. You know, it's just more enjoyable. It's nice to get that break from serious training to just having a kickabout. We still do it now. We go around to the park for a kickabout now on a Sunday morning if we could. Like. So
Rob, you're older. So talk to me about your path in the League of Ireland from when you first signed for a League of Ireland club to now when you're playing for Cabinteely and you're the top scorer in the first division. You've had a couple of clubs. You played for Bowes, played for Drogheda, and also played for UCD.
Yeah, well, I went out firstly to UCD 19s, and I loved out there. The lads were great. The managers were fantastic. The facilities were unbelievable. I loved every minute of it. And from there on, I was just saying, oh God, I'd love to keep playing this for as long as I can. Like, so my aim was to get into the first team, which I did. Albeit I spent a good bit, a majority on the bench. Like, played a handful of games towards the end of the season. In my first senior year of football, and then from there I moved on to Bowes, and it was probably a bit of a step up. Like, I think they were training a lot more days, and there's men in the team, and it's a different division obviously as well, the Premier Division. So I just struggled a bit, and I found myself in the stands, or if not on the bench, a lot more than I wanted to. And from there on, moving to Drogheda, again trying to get game time, but they were in a promotion push. So it was hard to get in, and then I made one of my goals this year was just to get game time. So I felt I could get that at Cabinteely, and I'm just happy it's gone well at the minute.
9 goals so far, is that correct?
9 goals so far, yeah.
I'm not sure, David, we can see a little photo of Rob and his most recent quote on the Cabinteely Twitter page. There it is. I've always said you have to have balls of steel to take 2 penalties in a game. So I was delighted they both went in. You're the penalty taker, and they are 2 of your 9 goals. What is the reason why you've scored so many goals? Because every single Friday or Saturday, we look on Live Score or Twitter, and Rob Manley is... Rob Manley? That's you, not Joe Manley. Rob Manley is scoring for Cabinteely, and your team are second in the first division, and you're the top scorer with 9 goals, which I'm sure when you went there, you didn't think would happen, or did you?
I've always backed myself to score goals. Just I'm so happy with the game time that I'm getting. Like, I thought I'd get a few. Like, I kind of made a goal in my head that if I could get to 10 goals in the season, just evaluate where you're at in the season and see where you can go from there. But the likes of Paul Heffernan at the club and Graham as well, like, they're always on my back and just giving me little pointers. as to what to do up top, and it's been brilliant. I'm just loving it at the minute.
Yeah, the first time I've ever heard in the League of Ireland of a strikers coach. So tell me about your work with Paul Heffernan that you mentioned and how it's helped you, because clearly it's shown on the pitch on a weekend. Yeah,
Heffo's class. He's been there and he's done that with Hibs and whoever else in England. He's had a good career, and it's like having someone in your corner, kind of like he's not going to be giving out to you too much if you miss a chance. He just give you a little point here or there. Like, because in all my time playing as a striker, I don't think I've ever been managed by a striker. It's always been like a centre half or a midfielder. So,
or in my case, a nobody.
Yeah, I know. You do give decent points here and there, to be fair to you. But like, as I said, like, it's just great. Like, he always has us doing shooting drills and training, and it's always there, so it's good.
You've been at some of the games, Joe, as well. Are you very happy? I'm sure you are, with your big bro and the goals he's scoring.
I'm delighted for him, to be honest. I mean, he obviously gets, I wouldn't say this to him personally, it's just because we're on the podcast now, but yeah, he obviously got a lot of stick in the house full of 4 lads when he was sitting in the stands, sitting on the bench. You know what I mean? That happens. But now we're always looking out for the best, and to be fair to him, he always backed himself. Do you know what I mean? Me and my brother would be giving him stick, and he'd say it jokingly. He'd always say, if I just get a run of games in this league, I'll rip it up. Like, and, do you know what I mean? At the time, we just, do you know what I mean, slag him a bit, and you think it's a bit of a laugh, but he backed himself and he kept his confidence. I mean, sitting in the stands for 2 years, or for a year and a bit, is not easy. So yeah, I'm delighted for him now. He's doing well. Yeah,
we're just having a look at a recent goal there. It's a cross into the box out there in Stradbrook, the worst pitch I've ever seen, but apart from that, a great cross in and Rob across the front. Who's that against?
That's Galway.
That's Galway, okay, that's one of your goals. So you've scored lots of different goals with your head, you know, from the penalty spot as well. And like, can you put your finger on the reason why it's gone so well for you in terms of that? Like,
again, I think college football helped a lot in the off season. Like, that was the first bit of game time I've really gotten. So just putting the ball in the back of the net in the college games obviously helped me confidence and getting the game time. And from there, went straight into the League of Ireland season feeling fresh. And it's just been gone from there, really.
I suppose once you start to score a couple, and there's a couple of games where you do well, they say all the time about a striker, once you've got that confidence, you feel like you're going to score in every match.
Yeah, once that's... strikers are usually confidence players, like, and once you get one, like, you just sometimes everything you hit just goes in. So it's just the way it is, like. Yeah,
your most recent game, it's 3-2 win over Athlone. You scored twice, and away to Wexford this Friday, and Wexford they've been kind of mixed this season. They were hammered in the opening couple of games. They picked up some results since, but I'm sure you'd be hopeful to keep your own run going. And like, if we look at the league table, like, you're second. I made the mistake on the show on 98 FM on Sunday. I actually said that you were first, but of course Longford had won on Saturday, so they went back to the top as well. But it's been a really, really positive start to the season, and you'd be hopeful to continue that on Friday away to Wexford.
Yeah, like, it's been such a good start to the season for the club. I think last week when we went top of the table for 24 hours until this, beat Bray, and we put us second. But like, it's history for the club, like, and I'm just proud to be a part of it. We had the chairman, Larry Bass, I think, tweeting us, this fellow multi-millionaire in Denmark, I think he was, or something, just tweeting about us, saying, congratulating us all. So it's class. Like, there's just such a good buzz around the club at the minute. It's brilliant to be a part of.
Did you reply to him on Twitter saying you want an increased goal bonus?
Not yet.
And just lastly on the team of Cabinteely, like, I spoke to Pat Devlin at the league launch at the start of the season in the Aviva, and like, he said, and I remember actually, because at the start of the podcast we put in some little clips of the best bits that the people have said as a little teaser, and the one I pulled from him was, like everybody else, we want to win the league. And I was kind of standing there going, in my head going, well, like, Cabinteely are very unlikely to win the league when you look at Shells and Bray and Longford and Drogheda, and there's still a long way to go. But him saying that in the media, and I'm not sure exactly what has been said, you know, to you guys in a private setting, but he had the balls to say it, and so far his team have really backed that up.
Oh, Pat's been brilliant. Like, he's been in the league for so long. He knows it in and out, and he's been with this group for the last 5 years, so he feels that this is his best team, and we're pushing on, and we've bought into it, and we want to do as well for him and for the club, and it's just about that. Like, we go into every game, he gives us our prep talk, and we're just wanting to get 3 points from every game, like.
Yeah, and certainly whether you win the league or not, the start definitely proves there's definitely a race for the top 4, which Cabinteely will be involved in. And Joe, Longford are involved in that too. So before we speak about you as a younger player, let's just talk about Longford. I was down in City Calling Stadium on Saturday, a win over Bray. I said this on Twitter, like, I've seen Bray, I've seen Drogheda, I've seen Longford, and I've seen Shells, and I think you guys are the best of those 4 teams so far, and you're sitting top of the pile. Yeah,
it's top of the table. I mean, it's a good feeling, but I mean, we're not really thinking about it too much at the minute. Things are going well, so we'll just keep that feeling going in the club. Try taking each game as it comes. You know, if we can just keep that good feeling going for as long as we can, we'll evaluate where we are. So, you know, when you're picking up wins week on week, it's great, and we'll just keep trying to do that. We're not really thinking too much about we're top of the table, this and that. It's a very tight league at the minute. Everybody's beating everybody, so yeah, we'll just keep on tipping in and see where we end up. Yeah, and like, it's been such a good start to the season that 7 games in, you're still unbeaten, 5 wins and 2 draws as well. And we just spoke to Rob about the momentum of him scoring goals and the confidence that gives. I'm sure for you guys, you know, being the only team now having Dundalk and, you know, all the other teams in the Premier now, the big teams have lost games, that must give you a huge boost of confidence. Yeah, it does. It does give you a boost of confidence. No matter what you do in football, if you're doing well, you're going to get confidence. And, do you know what I mean? People play off confidence, but you can't dwell on it. I mean, we have Cove away now on the weekend, on Saturday, and that is not an easy game, you know. It's a really tough place to go, so you can't dwell on it. Of course, it gives you confidence and you take that, but you don't get ahead of yourself and you don't get big-headed. You have to take each game as it comes. When the off-season is coming towards the end and everybody is saying Shells are going to do this, and, you know, look at the Bray squad and look at this and look at that, and Longford have lost these players, is that something that you guys actually took, you know, a mental note of, to go, nobody actually fancies us here? I think it helps. It definitely helps. I mean, when you're going into something as an underdog, it always helps. There's not as much pressure on you. Everyone was talking about Bray and Shells. We were training well. We knew ourselves the quality we had in the squad, so we were confident. We had great management. Pre-season went really well. So we went into the start of the season with a lot of confidence and just enjoying football. So we just took off from there. And from your own point of view, in your first season after under-19s, we've spoken about the game you played against Rob recently as well. Really impressed the other night with Mick McDonald and Conor Kenna at centre-back. And it's you know, an issue that faces lots of players your age in your first season under-19s is trying to get regular first-team football. And we even spoke about Rob and the issues that he had with it. And you've been a little bit in and out too. Yeah. I mean, coming from 19s to real senior football, it is tough. There's no like safety net of a 21s league or a 23s league like there is in a lot of places in Europe. But you know, you see a lot of lads, some lads ease into it, there's always exceptions. Some lads step into it like it's nothing. And you see a lot of them, and other lads take a few months, and then you see some lads who drop out of the game altogether or drop Leinster Senior, which is a shame, because there's a lot of talent kind of slipping through the net, you know, lads who just need an extra couple of months. But yeah, it is tough when you're going in, but I mean, I can learn an awful lot. Mick and Conor have been excellent so far, so, you know, I can't complain. I'm lucky enough to be on the bench. I mean, there's 3 or 4 lads in our squad each week who aren't even making the bench, lads who walk into other teams in the league. So we've got a talented group of players, and Mick and Conor are playing excellent. I can learn a lot. I mean, Conor's got so much experience in the league, and Mick as well. Mick's learned his trade in the Leinster Senior, and he's an excellent defender. So I can learn an awful lot from them 2 lads, and that's what I'm trying to do at the moment. And having seen Rob have to, you know, show patience at Bows and patience at Drogheda, and he's now getting his rewards of not going to the Leinster Senior League or not, you know, packing it in, is that something that has maybe given you a bit more patience, even though you're very kind of early into your time along? Yeah, 100%. I mean, you come out of the 19s league and you're starting every week. You're one of the first names on the team sheet, and you kind of think you're a bit of a superstar. You know what I mean? A lot of people do, and when you see, it gave me a bit more of a perspective watching him. I know how good he is, and I've watched him sit in the stand and sit on the bench for 2 years, so definitely I kind of knew where I was at going in. I knew it wouldn't be easy, so yeah, it does, it helps. It gives you a bit more patience, and you know where you're at. So yeah, and you've both spoken about your time at UCD, and David, we can see the other video in that folder now, please, of Joseph Manley taking a penalty here for UCD in the UEFA Youth League a couple of years ago. Joe, you can explain to us this penalty and the importance of it in this game. Who was it against and stuff? It was against FK Molde away in Norway in the UEFA Youth League. And for those listening to this podcast, Joe has just put the penalty straight into the top corner as a centre-back. Yeah. I mean, do you know what I mean? You play football, you train 2-3 times a week, maybe more if you're at a more professional club, but I mean, you got to back yourself in 12 yards, you know, you got to have confidence. So it's like passing the ball, you just go up and you put it away. Obviously you're nervous, and you can't really practice until you can practice as much as you want, but it's different when you're actually there on the game day. So yeah, just you have to back yourself in 12 yards as a footballer.
And just see, we're just having a look again. Is that the fourth penalty in the shootout? It's definitely third or fourth. In the end, you lost the shootout 5-4.
We lost in sudden death, yeah.
But what, like you're talking about, you're right from, it's pass the ball into the corner from 12 yards. But when it's actually in the UEFA Youth League, which is something that, only 3 clubs in Ireland have ever done. Cork City did it, UCD did it, and last season Bohemians did it. Like, what do you think of when you're walking up and you're actually playing in effectively the Champions League for your age group, for an Irish club?
You don't think much at the time, really. I mean, I can only imagine what it's like to do it at a higher level. I mean, I was so nervous doing it there. Your legs are a bit wobbly. You don't think too much. You see the football, you put on the spot. I have my spot picked. Anyway, people take penalties in different ways. I had my spot picked. You put it down and you take it. You're nervous. You don't really remember much. You don't think much, but you try and score. Once it goes in, I mean, it's relief more than anything else. It's not celebration. It's just pure relief.
And for you, Rob, do you watch the keeper? Do you have your spot? Do you wait to see where the keeper moves, or how does that? What does that depend on?
No, you just pick your spot. You always have it in your head. That's it.
And I suppose that as a striker too, being the one who's told by Pat or whoever it might be, you're the penalty taker as well, and he's spoken about the pressure of it being in Europe. Does that add any extra pressure to you, or is it something you just taking a stride?
Well, no, it mixes up as well. Even at Cabinteely, Conor Keeley does be on penalties as well, so we mix it up all the time.
He's a centre-back too, isn't he?
Yeah.
There's something about centre-backs taking penalties. So, Joe, talk to me about the UEFA Youth League. I know it's a couple of years ago now, home game, away game. That looks like an amazing stadium too, and an experience I'm sure even when you're finished playing football, you look back on and go, do you know what, I basically played at the top level.
Yeah, it is great. It gives you a different perspective on football. You're going from an under-19s team that trains twice, sometimes 3 times a week, to playing against professionals. Even at that age group, they're in every day. Their strength and conditioning is next to none. They're pure athletes, and to go and play and put it up to them. I mean, we did more than put it up to them. We done really well. We won 2-1 at home and we lost 2-1 away. We could have easily gone through, and if we go through that round, you're looking at playing. It's a shame, really, looking back on it now. We are looking at playing some really world-class teams. So it gives you a lot of confidence going forward because you get to play at a different level, and you kind of base your ability off that. So it gives you a lot more confidence, yeah.
And there are loads of players who were in that UCD team who are now still playing for the UCD first team or playing elsewhere in the league too. Yeah,
there is. There's a lot of lads. I mean, UCD always seem to bring through top class players. You look around the league now, Greg Sloggett is doing excellent at Derry. There's lads, if you look at any team, there's always lads who've come through UCD. They've got a great initiative there with the scholarship. They can put lads on scholarships and they get to play their football, and it's a really good atmosphere to play your football in. It's a really good atmosphere to develop.
But the one issue I do have with that video match is you walking on with a hairband.
Yeah.
What's the story behind that?
The hair was very long back then. It was a rainy day. I'd never worn it before. I probably won't wear it again because we lost. But yeah, it was a rainy day in the warm-up. My hair was getting in my eyes, so I thought I'm in Norway, why not?
So did you have the hairband with you? Like you had?
Oh yeah, I had it in my mind. I had it in my mind that if it's raining, I'll stick it on. And we were wearing the white kit as well, and it was a white hairband, so everything matched.
And had he cleared this with his big bro that he could do this, or had he?
The one who got you hairbands, was it?
Oh my God!
This is a joke, though, at the start, and I didn't think he'd actually wear them.
Well, I will just remind you, as your college manager, Rob, man, if you ever wear a hairband, you will not be playing ever again. Lastly, lads, just on that, I want to just speak about life away from football. And you're both in college. We've spoken earlier on about the college football, but what's the college football life like in terms of trying to balance? And Joe, if we start with you, you're in DIT. What are you studying, and how do you balance that plus college football plus club football plus having some sort of a life away from it?
Yeah, I'm studying logistics and supply chain management in TUD Industry. So it's good. It is good. I mean, it can get frustrating at times during the off season. Everything kind of runs perfectly, and it's kind of the perfect balance during the off season. You've got one training session, maybe 2, and then you've got your match during the week in college, which is it keeps you tipping over. It's like the perfect mix in the off season to keep you conditioned. But then when you come into the League of Ireland season and it starts to clash, it can get a bit frustrating, and it can get a bit frustrating the way it's not. I don't know if it can be managed better, but it's not managed very well at the minute. It clashes, and there does be some bad blood between college managers and League of Ireland managers. My manager now at the minute was very supporting, and he was happy to let us play. So, which is great, but I do know that some managers don't take as kindly to it, which is frustrating because do you know what I mean? It's all great in the off season when it keeps you conditioned, and then once it comes into clash, it's frustrating the way it clashes.
Yeah, and I know, Rob, you've had that too, and you know, we've all the managers in college and the League of Ireland managers try to find a balance for the players, but at times, like I know when we were in our semi-finals and finals, they were clashing like the day before league games, and it's the people who lose out the most are actually the players who are asked to play like 2 games in 2 days, or if you're playing on the following Monday, it's like 3 games in 4 or 5 days, and that's not easy for the players either.
No, it's not, especially the time of year that's at as well. A lot of the pitches are very heavy. I think when we played against Longford, I think it was the day before or something, but my hamstrings were very sore that day over the 2 games, and it's just unfortunate the way it falls. Like, it's only 2 or 3 games that it interferes with, but apart from that, like, it's brilliant, like, for keeping lads just ticking over in the off season, and you come back flying fit for the League of Ireland season.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see if the College League could continue during midterm breaks. Yeah. If I'm not sure if players go away or coaches go away, or if there's access to referees and stuff, but that would certainly, because the knockout stages of the college football are right at the start of the League of Ireland season, and it's something that affects a lot of players in the first division as well. Away from the football, how's college? You're nearly at the end of year 1.
Yeah, this is my first year, so I finished my leaving cert in 2015, so kind of was just working for the last 3 years, and I was a bit nervous going back into first year. I wasn't sure if I was going to be able for it, but I'm really loving it at the minute.
Why are you studying again? I should know this.
International business.
Okay, and why make the decision after 3 years of work to go to college?
Well, after I finished school, I went into the football force in Cabra, and that was brilliant, but I just didn't feel ready for college, and my ma's always banging on about getting an education, so I said I may as well try something, and I was looking for a good while, and it took me time to kind of figure out what course I wanted to do, but I'm happy with the decision I made.
And what would you both say to young League of Ireland players now who are in under 19 football and they're in their final year of school, they're in the leaving cert, and they're looking at what to do, whether that be FOSS, college, apprenticeship, because we've had a team on the podcast all season with different people coming home from England, not having gone to England, about education and the importance of it.
For me it's the perfect balance. Like, you're in college 9 to 3 most days, and then you can get to play, if you're part-time, just play your part-time in the afternoons or whatever, but playing the college football is brilliant, so, and you get your education as well, so get to it if you can, like.
Yeah, the FAI FOSS course, we both did it in Cabra. I done it 2 years after Rob, when I finished my leaving cert, and I had the points to go to college and stuff like that, but I just wanted to give kind of more full-time football a go for a year, because it's a fantastic course. If you don't do as well as you want in your leaving cert, if you're coming back from England and you don't have a leaving cert, you can go in there and get your FATAC, which can get you into ITs. And that was a fantastic course for both of us. I mean, you're training nearly full time, you're doing your session in the morning with really good coaches, and then you get your lifeguard cert, a few qualifications which you can go and work with. But that's a fantastic course as well if you're looking to kind of play a bit of full-time football and get a bit of education at the same time. Or
moonlight for a job and Saved by the Bell.
That is a bad show.
So for those watching who think I'm totally mad, right? Known Joe a few years through Rob and stuff, and I think he looks like Slater from Saved by the Bell with the slick back black hair. Can we get a Dave? Can we get a zoom in there on that hairstyle, and we'll just see? There you go. Look at that camera there for me.
What did you call it? What does Slater have? A jerry curl. Slater has a jerry curl.
Like, there's not. I'm not. It's a bad show. It doesn't look like it. Okay, I think he looks like Ross from Friends or something.
Ross from Friends, though. He got a bit of stick over that for a while, yeah.
Well, no, I think you look like a young Saved by the Bell character, so
I'll take it. I mean, he's got a nice tan, that fella.
He does, and probably lots of money. Lads, thanks for coming in.
No worries, thank you, Jamie, for having us on.
Now we'll just wrap on our first Vision Focus with the fixtures for this coming weekend, and looking forward to 4 games on Friday, 1 game on Saturday. The game on Saturday sees Longford Town and Joe Manley's team face Cove Ramblers. That game is at 7 o'clock. The other 4 games taking place at 7:45 this Friday. It's at Lone Town against Galway. That's an important game for both teams. Galway really struggling towards the bottom, and Athlone have dropped off after a decent start to the season. Bray against Drogheda looks like the game of the round. Both teams will be aiming to win the league, and if not, definitely finish in the top 4. That game is at 7:45. Again, I'd love that game to be on Saturday or something where you could really go and watch a decent game in the first division, because it's going to clash with games in the Premier, with the 2 games in Dublin. Bows UCD is in Dublin, and also St Pat's against Sligo Rovers, so something to look at. Shells against Limerick, another game in Dublin, 7:45 in Tolka, and Wexford against Cabinteely. That's on Friday at 7:45, in which Rob Manley will plan to score a couple more goals. That's it for the latest episode of the Off the Ball League of Ireland podcast. Thanks very much for joining us. Thanks to the two lads, and also to John Gill from Dundalk and Luke Byrne from Shells. We're back with you next Wednesday, folks. See you. Bye bye.